Well, I wanted to do a year with FVM because I first wanted to do a year of service. So I knew that I wanted to spend a year right after college doing service somewhere in an urban area. And so I researched a ton of different organizations. I think I looked up probably over 100, and none of them just seemed right until I had already known about FVM beforehand, and so it was always on my list, but then I really looked into the program, and I loved that there was community involved, and I loved that we spend 90% of our time with people. And so it was an obvious choice for me once I got to that point. And I basically decided halfway, in the middle of my senior year, and so I knew I wanted to do that. On Tuesdays, I get to go to the men's prison, and I spend the morning sitting with a group of guys who are about to be released in the next 5 years. And they talk about spirituality and how to stay out of prison. What types of tools can they use to not come back, and trying to change the mindset of, if I'm not successful in terms of making a lot of money, I don't want to revert back to selling drugs and that kind of stuff. And in the afternoon, I tutor one guy in his math and science for his GED, and I just love the entire day. I just feel like it's a very fulfilling ministry to me, and the guys are just so normal, when you walk in and everyone's in white jumpsuits, it's very scary to start off with, but I felt very good about just sitting in the conversations and all the how normal they talk about stuff. And most of the guys have children, and they talk about their children a lot. It's really uplifting, The toughest part has probably been the area in which we live and how confining it can be at times. I can't, we can't go out at night, and we can't do a lot of things that I'm used to from the area that I'm used to living in. At night, at home, I can just go out and go for a run whenever I want, and I don't have to worry about my safety. And when I go out at night here, safety is probably the primary concern. So at times it's quite confining, but it's also a very good thing for us to be living in this kind of area and really living with the people that we end up serving. So it's both a blessing and a curse at the same time. So. I think that the program can do a lot for the way that you think about the world and how you approach people. So I think for any person that is leaving college, has left college, and they want to change the way they think and really see how people struggle with day-to-day things that, my family has never had to struggle with a lot of these things. So it can really orient you to a way of seeing the world that's a lot more beneficial to other people. At the men's prison a few weeks ago, we were talking about, in the group that I sit in on, we were talking about all the things about ourselves, and I participate in the group. I'm not a facilitator in any respect. The guys facilitate differently each week, and so they asked me a few questions, and all of a sudden it turned into me getting career advice from all these felons in prison, and it was pretty interesting, and it was a little tough to handle for a little bit. And then I realized that a lot of these guys are actually pretty successful. They just have made a few mistakes, and so they're really normal guys. So I was getting a lot of career advice from people who own their own business and have handled a lot of the issues that I'm about to face, but they've just made a mistake. They're not. It doesn't make them wrong about these things. So it was very illuminating experience, but it was also a little weird when it was happening.